Gaga.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
You had an enforced absence, didn't you, between the last album and this one, due to illness. How were you as a patient, and how is it to be back?
Well, I guess I was a good patient in some ways because I was so excited to rejuvenate my body. It was exciting in a way. You feel like an infant.
Yeah.
But in another way, I felt dead all the time because I couldn't be on stage. So I guess I just really took to enjoying and appreciating the parts of what I do that are life as art all the time, as a way to make it through that sort of torture I was feeling. I think it was good for me because this stage is, you know, it's a place that I started to rely on, I think, very much, and the fans and that interconnection. And when it went away, I had to find a more spiritual connection with music and art, and I'm sort of on that journey path now.
If you think about how you present yourself, say, on stage, if you think about a lot of pop artists, particularly female artists, they're presented in a straightforwardly sexual way very often. You know, they have to be really good looking, they have to be presented as though the first thing you're going to react to is, do you fancy them? You know, do you think they're lovely? And you don't do that. I mean, sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't. How do you regard your body then, within that context?
Okay, well, I would say that in pop music, in that particular sphere, that there's a sort of one-dimensional quality to sexuality. So I think that the difference between what I do and that, if I can maybe start there, is that there's an intention always behind the sexuality, if the sexuality is there. But most of the time, I don't particularly find myself to be very sexy, actually. And then in the beginning of my career, I think that some of this exploration of covering myself up and transforming into other icons and other states of life force was a sense of sexual freedom for me, because I felt quite numb by my experiences and I wanted to escape things.
You use sex on this album in quite an interesting way. There's lots of different aspects to it, but often it's used as a way into love, it seems. The sex is going to hopefully lead on to something that will touch you a little more. Would you say that's right?
Yes, I would say that that's right, but I actually don't create with the intention of the finale.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. I don't always know exactly what's going to come out of it. So it's really beautiful for me to hear your reading of my experience with sex and love at this time, because my earlier experiences with sex were quite perverted and scary, terrifying, fear. I don't know, it sort of reminds me of these things we're sitting around.
Yeah, they're quite spooky, aren't they?
It was a little bit sort of terrifying for me. So, but now I have really great sex.
Well, she's good. I'm glad to hear it.
But, you know, it's just sort of a natural change.
When you're talking about your reaction to your fans, your relationship seems to be particularly intense.
It is.
What do you get from them? I mean, not just when you're performing, but when you see them outside the hotel, when they talk to you?
Well, I choose to receive their love. And because of that, it's become very intimate over the years. I think that, you know, maybe in your suggestion that my relationship with my fans is different than some other pop artists, I think some of it is because there is a separation between them and the work for some people, that what I'm doing here and what is happening here are two different things. But because I've studied even Stanislavski since I was 11 years old, you know, I have a sense of, So because of that, I'm aware of their energy all the time, and I receive it. So I need it for my work. I can't survive as what I've become without them.
I didn't mean to interrupt there, sorry. When you leave the...
Didn't mean to talk for so long.
These things happen, you know. You've got a lot to say. When you leave
I don't know. Do I? I might sound total shit. I think your ratings will go down. I don't even know why you put me on this show.